それって、どういう意味ですか、ジョージさん。
言葉通りの意味だよ。僕はまだ自分の城を築き上げてない。それができて初めて僕は一人前になれたと思えるんだ。その時、君と結婚したい。
Man, even though this probably can never work, it doesn't, stop me from smiling, though, at his hopes.
それは
でもそれじゃあ、もう僕の心が許せないんだ。だから、君に婚約指輪を贈りたい。
婚約ですか。でも私、家具ですし。
そうだったね。じゃあ、家具は人の言うことを聞かないとね。今、君に贈るのにふさわしい指輪を作らせてる。多分、今度の親族会議の日には持っていけると思う。その時に送るから、どうか君の返事を聞かせてほしいんだ。君が僕の婚約を受けてくれたら、僕はその席でおじい様を含めたすべての親族の前で君との婚約を宣言する。
Whoa.
ジョージさん。
君と僕の仲をふさわしくないと咎める人たちはきっといる。でも、そいつらの顔を見る必要はない。君はその瞳の中に僕だけを満たしていればいいから。君を必ず幸せにする。それだけは絶対に約束するから。
That's sweet. That was a really sweet scene. Oh no. That's not good.
どのように実るのか楽しみでならない。
Final curtain verse C. What the heck am I hearing? What am I hearing? Ooh! Okay, I like that. I like that.
憂に過ぎて腐り落ちる果実の駅に黄金の蝶たちは舞い降りる。今より収穫の日が待ち遠しい。宴の時はまだかまだか。
Intriguing. Really intriguing. Please don't cut the song off. Oh my god, you cut the song off there! No, and that was the end of the chapter! The first day, October 4th, 1968. Alright, we just begun, so I'm just gonna continue on. Chessboard preparations. Door of Summer. Yeah, I'm gonna continue on this episode because I am not releasing a 5-minute episode of Umineko. They had eaten breakfast at a coffee shop in the station building. By chance, the inside of the shop had been decorated with Halloween colors since it was October. It seemed that Maria had really taken a liking to that. Oh, we're getting a storyline with Maria and Rosa now? Ever since, she had been making a fuss inside the train about wanting to have a Halloween festival, without caring that she was attracting the attention of others. Halloween is popular in Europe and America, but people are hardly familiar with it at all in Japan. The shopping district was colorfully decorated with orange pumpkins. But the costume parades of children demanding sweets and saying trick or treat were nowhere in sight.
ハロウィン祭りがしたい。こんなお洋服やだ。魔女の格好がいい。
親族会議は遊びじゃないのよ。おじいさまにお会いするんだから、ちゃんとしたお洋服じゃないとダメ。
While it wasn't completely full inside the train, there were enough people here that almost all of the seats were occupied. Among them, Maria was making a fuss, kicking her feet back and forth in her seat, while Rosa scowled at her. Rosa had told her many times in a low voice to stop, but Maria was taking no notice whatsoever. Once Maria gets this way, no matter how much you try to explain the situation or calm her, she doesn't listen. In the past, Rosa used to pamper Maria and give in to her at times like this. But that had already been the problem. Almost certainly, the young Maria had formed the wrong impression that if she kept complaining noisily, her mother would give in and listen to her. That error had been brought to Rosa's attention through an educational book, and since then, she had hardened her heart so as not to pamper her beloved daughter. Okay, hold up. Okay, I'm gonna point out something that you did in episode 1. Wailing on your daughter is not a way to harden her up. I'm just gonna say that now. I'm gonna say that now, Rosa. Yes, pampering's not a good idea, but hitting your child, that's like worse than pampering, in my opinion. But Rosa could manage less and less mutual understanding with Maria, and it had become more and more common that she felt discouraged by her own powerlessness.
"あなたにあげるお菓子はありません。さっき朝ごはんを食べたでしょ。お
菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃう。お菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃう。
I see where this scene's going, and I'm not liking it. Whenever Maria and Rosa are alone together, yeah, okay, I know something's gonna happen. As Maria kicked her feet, a stout old woman sitting in the seat across from Maria picked a candy out of her handbag and gave it to her.
Maria, 勝手に人からお菓子をもらっちゃダメでしょ。
Oh shit. Yeah.
返しなさい。いいんですよ。元気なお嬢さんですこと。おいくつです？
There may not have been any malice in those words from the old woman. But it seemed that Rosa had taken that in an extremely humiliating way.
マリア、知らない人からお菓子をもらっちゃいけないっていつも言ってるでしょ。
おー、これはマリアがもらったの。やだ、マリアの。
話しなさい。ママの言うことを聞けっていつも言ってるでしょ。
She's a fucking 9-year-old. She's a fucking 9-year-old. Yep, as to be expected. There is more scenes like this in this story. Damn it. Like, I knew that scene from episode 1 probably wasn't going to be a one-off thing. At the same time, God. I didn't know we were going to get one so, quickly. Rosa reflexively hit Maria violently on her cheek. In a flash, Maria started crying loudly. Rosa immediately snatched the candy from Maria's hand and stuck it out towards the dumbfounded old woman sitting next to them.
うちの子に勝手にお菓子を与えないでください。
This is on the verge of not being overprotectiveness. This is just on the verge of a want of power. Like, some of the intentions this game might be going for, or might not be going for. Like, maybe they're trying to get people to think that Rosa is being very protective of her daughter. But to me, and maybe this is actually the intention of the game as I think about it, this kind of looks like Rosa has a power complex. This kind of looks like Rosa has a power complex to me.
ごめんなさい。
Breathing heavily, Rosa once again held the candy out to the old woman. The woman looked confused for a moment about what she should say, but then understood that perhaps her actions may have caused trouble for this parent and child, and she accepted the candy back, apologizing. Then, Rosa finally took notice of her surroundings. Her daughter's clothes were all messed up. She was crying and shouting with her nose dripping. And there were many dumbfounded passengers watching them. Except for the sound of the train running, their rail car was completely silent. Fortunately, that pitiful silence didn't last more than a short while. However, in its place came an even more painful atmosphere as everyone whispered. Maria shouted, cried, kicked and stomped her feet as usual, paying no heed to the people sitting around her. Impulsively, Rosa tried to slap her again, but she noticed the cold eyes of the people in the train, and couldn't do that anymore. When the train stopped, Rosa got off, forcibly pulling Maria by the arm, and almost dragging her along to the ground. Rose. As usual, Maria didn't stop crying. Rosa took her to the end of the platform and hit her cheek again. At the moment she was hit, Maria stopped crying for an instant, but before long, she shouted and cried even more than before. Rosa, whose emotions had exploded, grabbed Maria by her collar and pulled her hair as if to rip it out. Maybe you could think that it's kind of your fault? Maybe it's your abuse causing more problems, Rosa?
どうしてママの言うことが聞けないの? どうして?
Along with those severe words, Rosa hit Maria's head over and over again. The more Maria cried and shouted, the more Rosa hit her. And the more Maria was hit, the more intensely she cried and shouted.
どうしてやめられないの？あんたがそんなんだから友達ができないのよ。あんたがそんなんだからパパの出張が終わらないのよ。
Oh my god.
あんたがそんなんだから私が。
お客さんいかがされましたか？
何かご用ですか？
The one who timidly called to her was the station attendant. Rosa glared at him with a look that said, "Don't cut into the problems of a mother and child, stranger." The station attendant surely hadn't wanted to talk to her. However, Rosa had been yelling on the platform for a much longer time than she had imagined. Her emotional scolding had caused the passengers on the platform to advise the station attendant that it would be a good idea to speak to her. Rosa yelled at the station attendant that they would get on the next train and not bother them anymore. And then, finally, or maybe we should say, for the second time, she noticed the passengers on the platform staring at her from the distance. Rosa sweated slightly. She felt the wind chill the sweat, tormenting her. Maria was still crying, shielding her own head. No, unless this beating stopped, she would probably keep crying forever. As Rosa recovered from the evil heat inside of her head, she knew she had surrendered her soul to something bad again. Rosa fell to her knees and hugged Maria, whose face was all soggy with tears and mucus.
Maria, ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Okay. It is apparent that Rosa is also a complex character like Maria, but regardless of how much she does feel sorry for beating on Maria, it's apparent that she keeps on doing it. It is very apparent that she keeps on doing it. And it's kind of getting to the point where it feels like, yes, Rosa does care deeply for Maria, but if she truly did care for Maria, she would try to figure out some of her own problems instead of lashing them out like she does. Yes, you have shitty problems, but you're causing a lot more by releasing your emotions and anger on your own child. So, I can get into an understanding of Rosa's character, but there's gonna be no forgiveness for the child abuse that she does to Maria. Like, there's gonna be no forgiveness. Even though it maybe claims her emotions got to her, I don't classify that as a fucking excuse to wham on a child. Dare I say, in parenting skills, Rosa may be one of the worst parents in this game. Finally, Maria realized that her mother had turned back to being her mother. Then, she clung to her mother's body and cried, burying her face in her mother's chest.
悪いママを許して。悪いママを許して。本当にごめんなさい。ママをどうか嫌いにならないで。
マリアは全然平気。
it's still apparent that Maria still does love her mom, but, dare I say this might be a case of Stockholm Syndrome?
ママはまた悪い魔女に乗り移られていただけ。でもママが帰ってきたから平気。
悪い魔女にママはまた乗り移られていたの。ごめんね。本当にごめんね。
For a long time, the two of them hugged each other, asking for forgiveness and sending words of forgiveness back. After a while, the two of them gradually calmed down and naturally drew their faces apart. Maria's face, Rosa's face, both were deep red after crying their eyes out.
マリアはハロウィンのお祭りがしたいの。
おう。ジョージお兄ちゃんやジェシカお姉ちゃんにかぼちゃマシュマロを見せてあげたかった。
That was a sweet, which had been alongside the cash register at the shop where they had eaten breakfast. It was a fancy treat that had a big orange marshmallow in the shape of a jack-o'-lantern stuck on the end of a stick. Maria had wanted that, had insistently pestered for it. Rosa had disallowed it, saying that there was no way she would buy such a sweet right after they had breakfast.
じゃあマリア、この町に売っているかどうかわからないけど、降りて探してみようか。
Oh, I think they're explaining why those two were late now. Oh, that's interesting.
ママ大好き。愛してる。ありがとう。
私もよ、マリア。愛してるわ。
Damn you, Rikishi, you're making this stuff with Rosa complicated. You're making this complicated. Yeah? She's a shit parent, but she's not the shittiest parent? The truth was that they had no time to waste loitering around at a stopover station. If they missed the airplane, they would fall half a day behind schedule. She should have left home with more time to spare, but she had ended up leaving late after spending too long choosing Maria's clothes. Because of that, Rosa had been a bit impatient since the morning. She looked at the clock. They should be getting on the next train immediately. But her daughter had firmly joined hands with her to go buy the sweet together, and that hand was warm. To Rosa right now, it was more important to regrow her bonds with Maria. Maria was not only Rosa's beloved daughter, she was everything Rosa had. Off to the city they went. Fortunately, she could see that there was a big supermarket right in front of the station. Maybe she wouldn't be able to find a sweet exactly like that one, but Maria would probably accept something similar. Besides, Rosa also couldn't show up with a face swelled from crying. She would have to fix her makeup.
あれと全く同じマシュマロは見つからないかもしれないけど、似たようなお菓子があるといいね。それで、いとこのみんなを一緒に驚かそうね。
うん。ママと一緒に買うお菓子なら何でもいい。
Again, you're a motherfucker, Rikishi. Maybe I'll upgrade Rosa to bad parent from shit parent for right now? Maybe she has a split personality. maybe she does have a split personality, so half of her shit and the other half is not ish shit? You're making this really complicated. You're making this really complicated because like, right after a low moment, Rosa tries going to a high moment. Like, that's what I've been seeing in this chapter and the previous chapter, so damn you, Rikishi. Damn you, Rikishi, for making okay, well, you are making a realistic portrayal of, people, so I must applaud you for that. Well, at the same time, I must say, fuck you! Love you, man. Love you. I love you, though. The two left the turnstiles of the station in this unknown town. Maria walked across the pedestrian crossing together with her mother, feeling very pleased, as though she was walking in an amusement park. Both faces were still deep red, but warmth could be seen between the two of them, mother and child, as they smiled at each other awkwardly. I can't... Okay, we're going to the next scene, so... Maybe? We're back in the mansion, Songbird Lily. Intriguing. Oh.
こんなところでどうされたのですか？
君か。なんでもない。
Was he looking at the gold bar?
考え事をするのにここが少し心地よかっただけだ。
今日の準備はすべて手配が終わっています。あとはお茶でも飲みながらくつろいで待とうではありませんか。
すまん。君にいつも面倒なことをすべて押し付けている。
どうか私をもっと頼ってはいただけませんか。私はあなたの妻です。
無論君にはいつも助けられているし感謝もしている。
Wait, what? Wait a second, what?
だからこそ私は私の仕事に専念できる。
Is Klaus not a shit husband?
分かっています。お仕事のこと、そしてお父様の遺産の話ですね。
君には関係のないことだ。欲深な兄弟たちの腐肉のあさり合いに過ぎ。
大丈夫です、あなた。すべてうまくいきます。あなたのお仕事がうまくいかなかったことはありません。
Nasui softly cuddled close to Klaus's shoulder. She spoke words to reward Klaus for the difficulties of his work, but Nasuhi was herself the one who knew best that it wasn't going well. Klaus's enterprises were something like a seesaw where a large amount of money swung. A big investment leads to a large return. But the swaying of a large-scale seesaw is large, yet sluggish, and something which shows immediate results. And not something which shows immediate results. At times, he would make more investments so that the seesaw inclined faster than the... oh my god. Alright. Okay, I got this now. Alright. I lost my voice yelling at Rikishi earlier. I'm sorry, everyone. At times, he would make more investments so that the seesaw inclined faster towards the good side. Naturally, he did that because he had the confidence that, in a not-so-distant future, he would be able to recover all the investments made. However, the seesaws Klaus chose never turned out as he would have liked them to. His foresight wasn't wrong, but times were slow. They never caught up with him. For example, think of a literal seesaw placed in a park. Due to its great popularity, there was always someone playing on it. So if he wanted to play it, he would have to wait a long time for his turn. And then, one day, he found that seesaw vacant, straddled it, realizing he was the first to arrive, and had it all to himself. However, nobody got on the opposite side of the seesaw, so he couldn't play on it. And no matter how much time passed, nobody came to the opposite side of the seesaw. The seesaw is a popular piece of playground equipment, so if you waited, another person would definitely show up. Krauss noticed. The weather looked like it was getting worse. That's why nobody was coming outside to play. But the seesaw is a popular piece of playground equipment, so someone would definitely come. If he vacated his place because the weather seemed to be getting worse, someone would definitely snatch his place away. And he would end up only longingly gazing from a distance at someone else having fun playing on the seesaw again. On one side of the seesaw, he continued to wait patiently, all alone. That was Krauss' current enterprise and situation.
私にもう少しの勇気と自分の先見性を信じる自信があればいつだって失敗はしなかった。
ええ、そうです。あなたの先見性はいつも間違っていません。あなただけがお父様の才覚を受け継いだのです。他の兄弟たちが誰も受け継がなかった天性のものを受け継がれた。
なのに私はそれを信じられず、いつも臆病に自らの事業を畳んできた。なぜ自分を信じることができないのか。自分を信じられない男を誰が信じる。誰も信じない。私はいつも敗者の座るべき椅子に自ら座り、親父にもおふくろにも兄弟たちにも笑われる。
Are you making me feel bad for Krauss?
私はいつになったらこのコンプレックスから解放されるのだ。いつになったら。
Only Nasui knew. She knew of Krauss' anguish. As the eldest son of the Ushiyamiya family, who would have to shoulder a big responsibility, he couldn't open his pained heart to anyone, and would always be compared to his father's great enterprises.
あなたが親族会議に専念できるよう、すべての手配を済ませています。すべて。
すまん。親父どもの件は問題ないかね。
はい。源氏と南條先生は私たちの味方です。あの強欲な兄弟たちを決してお父様には合わせません。
Damn. They're actually getting me to feel a little bit bad for Krauss. Let me give you applause, Rikishi.
もしもし。
Oh, jeez.
はい、ゴーダです。
Towering Cloud in Summer.
ねえ、お任せください。年に一度の大仕事に腕が鳴っております。
Ingredients of varied colors had been gathered in the kitchen, and the preliminary arrangements had already been started. Even though it's still morning, the ingredients for dinner were already in saucepans and steaming. Normally, he had to deal with several assorted matters other than cooking, but on the day of the family conference, he could devote himself to it entirely. To Goda, who was originally a chef, this was surely the greatest gala occasion of the whole year.
ええ、ディナーには子牛のステーキを。素晴らしい肉がすでにホレイコで、 今夜を待ちわびておりますよ。まかないも今夜はぜひ期待してください。
It was rare for Goda to be in this good of a mood towards his fellow servants. To Goda, who boasted about being a chef who worked exclusively for the Ushiyamiya family, being given the right to show off his cooking at the family conference was the greatest honor.
わかった。任せるのでよろしく頼む。あと、熊沢がそちらにいないか。
熊沢さんですか。先ほど見かけましたが、こちらにはおりません。
Is he on the phone?
ゲストハウスの方へ準備に行かれたのではないでしょうか。
また油を売っているのか。いや、結構だ。では引き続きよろしく頼む。万事、この強弾にお任せを。
They're calling on the phone. I got really confused there. I thought Goda had like a transcendental existence for a second, and there's like, you know, the hand from the other side is coming out of the hand on our side. I'm sorry. But Goda talking like he was on the phone for a second confused me because I didn't realize he was on the phone. Why is Goda becoming a meme to me? Why is he the meme character? I don't know. Genji placed the telephone back on the receiver, sighing lightly. Thinking of Kumasawa, who was no doubt hiding and slacking off even though things were this busy. And the ostentatious Goda, who only felt like doing anything on a day when he could show off. Genji sighed once again.
失礼します。ゲストハウスの各お部屋の準備が整いました。
お嬢様より、お子様方が泊まれるよう、4人分の用意をするようにとのご指示を賜りましたが、いかがいたしましょう。
今年は6年ぶりにバトラ様がお見えになるそうだ。お嬢様もいとこ4人で夜更かしをされたいのだろう。準備するように。奥様にはお伝えしなくてよい。
そうですね。かしこまりました。
今夜は深夜勤で、そのまま明日は早朝勤か。しんどい2日間になりそうだな。
そういえば、台風が直撃するって天気予報で言っていますね。大丈夫でしょうか。
台風がよほどそれない限り、場合によっては親族の皆様方のお帰りの船に響くだろう。親族会議の日程が月曜か火曜あたりまで長引くかもしれない。長丁場になるだろうが、皆くれぐれも粗相のないように頼む。シャノンは焦らぬよう落ち着いて、カノンは愛想よくご挨拶をするように。
はい。注意します。
注意します。
大切なお客様がお越しになられる日だ。くれぐれも粗相がないように。
心得ています。いつだってここには大切なお客様しか訪れませんから。
カノン、今日は本当の意味で大切なお客様を迎える。心構えを改めるように。
はい。
Does Genji know about Beatrice's return? Is he knowing that she's gonna make a return?
シャノン、どうした？さっきから何かそわそわしているようだが。 何か時間の約束でもあるのか？
いえ、何でもありません。失礼いたしました。
姉さん、今日は大切なお客様がお越しになる日なんだよ。プライベートとは切り離すようにね。
プライベートなんか知りません。
As Shannon blushed just a bit, she turned her gaze away from the clock. Was it about time for the airplane carrying the family to arrive at Nijima? She had thought she had been hiding the fact that her long-awaited reunion with George was making her heart palpitate. But her canon, who stood at her side, understood her perfectly. We're cutting to a lot of characters in this chapter. Door of Summer. Into the airport. Are we gonna be repeating scenes?
シャノン、これを黙って受け取ってくれ。
He's practicing on the toilet. No way, is he actually practicing on the toilet? Yes, he is. Inside a bathroom stall, George was practicing something over and over, taking out a small velvet box hidden in his pocket like a quick draw dessert gunman. Wait, desert gunman. I'm gonna repeat that entire line, oh my god. Inside a bathroom stall, George was practicing something over and over, taking out a small velvet box hidden in his pocket like a quick draw desert gunman. Not dessert gunman, I'm sorry.
シャノンは牽引力のある男性が好きなんだ。もっと馬力がある感じじゃないとダメだ。シャノン、これを薬指につけるんだ。命令だよ。ああ、左手とちゃんと言わないと右手にされちゃうかもしれない。いや、シャノンもそこまでかまととじゃないけど。ああ、でも少しは自由意志がないとなんだかその。
As he crossed his arms, moaning and groaning, someone knocked on the door. Uh-oh. George was startled back to reality.
お、ジョージ君。大丈夫か？腹の調子でも悪いのか？
ルドルフおじさん。大丈夫です。平気です。ご心配は無用です。
そっか。ならいいんだけどね。無理して力みすぎるなよ。尻が切れちまうぞ。
I don't think he heard the marriage stuff. I don't think he did. Maybe. He might have. And he might be thinking, you go, dude. Rudolf washed his hands, laughing cheerfully, and left. Oh, he definitely heard what George was saying earlier. He definitely heard it. George knew that the most embarrassing part hadn't been overheard, and he patted his chest in relief. No, he definitely heard you. If he was washing his hands, he definitely heard you.
キリエ、ローザはまだ来ないのか？
まだよ。遅いわね。
天候調整中だからいいようなものを。これで普段通りのダイヤだったらあいつ乗り遅れちまうぜ。そしたらどうする気なんだあいつ。
ローザさんだっていい年の大人よ。なんとかするわ。兄って人はいくつになっても妹を子供扱いなのね。
親父だっていくつになっても子供だけどな。
だと？ 俺が子供ならおめえは赤ん坊じゃねえか。ほれほれ、バトラちゃん、高い高い。
やめろ、くすぐってやめ。
親子ってより悪ガキ仲間って感じね。ほら、いらしたわよ。
おおおお、ローザさんやないか。マリアちゃん、久しぶりやの。
久しぶり。
マリア、お久しぶりですでしょ。言ってごらん。
お久しぶりです。
そうや、よく言えたな。ご褒美に飴玉あげような。あれ、どこにしまったんや。
ローザさん、お久しぶりです。マリアちゃんもお久しぶり。ご無沙汰してます、キリエ姉さん、秀吉兄さんと。あら、バトラ君、大きくなったわね。
Okay, there's gonna be some repeating of events. I can see that now. Maybe. I'm just glad they at least kept at least one Battler-kun. Look how big you got it. At least they kept one of those.
いやー今日は会うたびに言われてて恥ずかしいっすよ。
おう、ローザ、遅かったな。飛行機がダイヤ通りだったらギリギリってとこだったぜ。
ごめんなさい、列車の接続がうまくいかなくて。何？また天候調査中なの？ぼやかないぼやかない。船で6時間も揺られるくらいなら飛行機でほんの30分の方がずっとマシよ。たとえ1時間余計に待たされたって全然早いんだから。
あれがマリアなのか。大きくなったな。成長期か。
前に会ったのは6年前。それは変わるわよ。女は心変わりがあればたった1日でも生まれ変わる生き物よ。
Maria noticed a big man who she didn't remember mix along the relatives and hid behind Rosa's back, glaring at Battler.
おいバトラ、挨拶しろい。前にやったのが3歳の時じゃ、初対面も同じだぞ。
3歳じゃ覚えてねえよな。よっ、マリア、久しぶり。大きくなったな。
マリア、バトラお兄ちゃんよ。ルドルフおじさんの息子さん。わかる？
おじさんの息子さんが、おじさんが息子さん。
She was obviously on her guard. She must have found it frightening for a large guy like Battler to suddenly start speaking frankly to her. Battler noticed that as well, and thought of various ways he might approach her. Then, he noticed the sweet she had in her hand. It was the... Okay, there is differences, because in the first episode, there was no sweet in her hand. There's some differences that's already being apparent. She did not have the sweet the first time, from my memory. She did not have that sweet in her hand. This is where the divergence begins. It was the jack-o'-lantern sweet that Rosa had bought... It was the jack-o'-lantern sweet that Rosa had bought for her.
そっか、10月だからハロウィンか。お菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃうぞ。
If you try to take away, yeah, my god, I'm sorry. If you try to take a treat away from a small child, normally, you'd expect them to cry and start a fuss. The adults thought that method wasn't good, but surprisingly, Maria looked pleased, her face splitting into a wide grin.
Halloween! Halloween!
Because Ballard said Halloween.
ほらママ、バトラもハロウィン知ってる。ほらほら。
こーら、バトラお兄ちゃんと呼びなさい。ごめんね、バトラくん。
いやいや、気にしないっすよ。俺はバトラと呼んでくれ。俺もマリアって呼ぶからな。ほらマリア、ハロウィンだぞ。お菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃうぞ。
お菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃうぞ。
From inside her handbag, Maria picked out a jack-o'-lantern sweet identical to the one she had in her hand, and presented it to Battler. It seemed that Battler accepting it was enough to confirm their friendship. The adults felt admiration at how children have their own ways of communicating. To Maria, who had been complaining that she wanted to have a Halloween festival, it must have felt like Battler was a friend, since he knew about trick-or-treat. Her defensive posture from before was completely gone. Now, she was all merry, as though they had been friends for decades.
そうだな。日本じゃハロウィンってマイナーなイベントだよな。仮装行列で練り歩くなんて向こうのニュースではよく見るけど、日本じゃ見たことないぜ。
マリアも仮装したかった。仮装していとこみんなでお菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃうぞってやりたかった。
It's a little early for that, don't you think, Maria?
そっかそっか。今度俺と一緒にやろうな。マリアだったら何の仮装をして練り歩きたい？
魔女ベアトリーチェ。
Oh my god! This soon we're getting a Beatrice reference from Maria? Oh. Thunberg Lily. Speak of the devil. Speak of the actual devil.
こんなところに奥様が探しておいででしたよ。
探されたくねえからこんなところにいるんだぜ。どうせみなりは大丈夫かとか、言葉遣いをちゃんとするようにとか、お小言が言いたいだけに違いないぜ。
違いありません。
私はさ、なぜか親族会議の日になるとこの魔女様が気になるんだよ。
ほう、それはまたどうしてでございましょう。
親族会議ってのはじい様に連なる全ての一族老頭が集まる日だ。今年は6年ぶりにバトラも来るそうじゃねえか。そんな感じでさ、何十年かぶりに今までずっと姿を現さなかった親族がひょっこりと現れるんじゃないかっていつも思ってるんだよ。
ほほう、そんな親族がおりますでしょうか。
Old lady comes in. Hey guys, I'm Grandpa's mistress, Beatrice. But wait, apparently Beatrice died several decades ago. No, it's quotation mark dead because that's a vague way of saying that Beatrice just left. Is Beatrice gonna come in like a really old lady this chapter? Like, hey, can I have my money now? I gave my gold to Grandpa, and I kind of want it back. As like an old lady, or send in like a homunculus, like an old lady homunculus to take in her stead. Oh my god, that would be kind of funny. That would be funny.
ベアトリーチェ様だよ。素性は誰も知らない。あるいは大昔のじい様の愛人なのか。その子孫がひょっこりと現れて授けた黄金を返せなんて言い出すかもしれないぜ。
This is something foreshadowy is happening.
クラウス様たちは親方様の遺産問題で今年も議論されるでしょうから。こうも魔女の黄金の話で盛り上がっては黄金を与えた魔女本人がそろそろおいでになってもおかしくありませんね。
熊沢さんはさ、辞めたり勤めたりと忙しいけど現実さんの身に昔からここに出入りしてるわけでしょ。ベアトリーチェのこともっと知ってるんじゃないの？
さてどうでしょうね。思い出そうにもこの老いぼれ、今朝の朝食すらも思い出せませんので。
熊沢さんはいっつもそういう言い方で逃げるけど何か知ってそうなんだよな。知ってて物陰で笑ってるみたいな陰湿な雰囲気が時々するぜ。
これは手厳しい。隠し事など何もしておりません。私から申し上げられることは、ベアトリーチェ様は黄金の魔女であられて、この島の夜を支配されているもう一人の主人であられるということだけでございます。
じい様の受け売りかよ。給料もらってるとはいえじい様の妄言に付き合うのも大変だな。
ただこれだけは申し上げられます。
何？
六軒島は太古の昔小豆島と呼ばれて恐れられてきました。
Azukijima, Azuki Bean Island. The origins of Mr. Bean lie here.
小豆は悪時期がなまったものと言われ、本当は悪時期島と呼ばれていたのだと漁民たちの間では伝えられておりました。
Akujikijima, Evil Appetite Island. Okay, definitely the origin of Mr. Bean lies here.
前にも聞いたよ。この辺は暗礁が多くて海難事故が多かったから領民たちが恐れてむやみに近づかなかったって話だろ。
悪時期島には悪霊が住み着いていて、太古の昔から人々の魂を喰らい続けてきました。この島に関わり命を奪われた人間はあまりにも多いのです。
Definitely, this is definitely giving me some Oyashiro-sama vibes from Higurashi.
それを旅の修験者だかなんだかが例の社を作って鎮魂したんで収まったってんじゃなかったっけ？うさんくせえ話だぜ。
その鎮魂の社はこの夏、暗き闇を引き裂く紫色の不気味な雷で打ち砕かれたとか。
Oh yeah, Beatrice definitely used Shannon.
熊沢さんその話好きだな。確かに鎮魂の社が落雷でなくなっちまうなんて不気味だが、 まあもともとオンボロだったしな。ちょっと高い波にでもさらわれたんじゃねえのかな。
眠りから目覚めた悪食島の悪霊がベアトリーチェ様を呼び寄せたのです。もしベアトリーチェ様が親族会議に訪れられるようなことがあったなら。
あったなら
Kumasawa kept silent for a moment there. Jessica, who wanted her to keep going, found that silence very eerie. Once Kumasawa was satisfied that she had spooked Jessica just the right amount, she grinned broadly.
はてさて、どんなことになるやら。
What would happen? And off to the next character. As soon as you hear the music fade,
そいつは素敵じゃないかよ。
as soon as you hear the music fade, you know it's going to cut to another character. Hope. That's the song that's playing right now. Hope.
でしょ？たまには優雅な時間を得て、あなたの心を豊かにするのもあなたの仕事に役に立つんじゃないかしら。
だな。心と財布は豊かじゃなきゃいけねえ。わかったよ。その日は開けておくことにする。予約を頼むぜ。
わかったわ。絶対よ。
ああ、よろしく頼む。愛してるぜ、キリエ。
After kissing the receiver, Rudolf hung up. In front of his seat, there were many executives with their sleeves rolled up, eagerly awaiting the end of that phone call.
すまん、待たせたぜ。アメリカから連絡は来たか？
はい。外線にデイル渡辺弁護士からです。おつなぎします。
結局のところ感触はどうなんだ？
それが一つ芳しくないようでして、先方は裁判をも辞さないつもりのようです。
やっぱりごまかしきれねえかな。つないでくれ。
わかりました。すぐに。
The executive ordered the secretarial office to connect him to the external line. Immediately, the telephone in front of Rudolph started ringing.
もしもし、hello, hello?
Sorry. He was saying hello, so it's fine.
お待たせしました。後ろ宮です。どうも。いかがですか、そちらは。
Hello, President 後ろ宮。挨拶は抜きで本題に入りましょう。いいニュースと悪いニュースがありますが、どちらを先にしますか？
悪いニュースが先がいいな。デザートがないと頑張れないたちなんだ。
わかりました。悪いニュースは先方が当方を告発する準備に入ったということです。つい先日類似した裁判で原告が圧勝する判決が出されました。被告側も当方が主張するのとほぼ同じ内容で論戦していたのですが、全てにおいて却下されました。残念ながらこのまま法廷に臨めば当方の主張はことごとく却下される可能性が極めて高いでしょう。
例の裁判全滅だったか。うちより有利な条件だったと思ってたんだが、そりゃ辛いな。で、いいニュースは？
先方の幹部と接触できました。先方に当方の立ち位置を説明し、先方のブランドイメージを侵害する意図がないことを説明し、理解を得ることができました。 先方は近日中に条件提示を行い、それらの履行が行われるなら告発を見送ると約束しました。取締役会のナンバー2による発言です。
感触は
正直非常に厳しいものになると予想されます。当方の想定では避けられないものとして、社名変更、ブランド名変更、交渉の余地のあるものとして和解金額、大手新聞への謝罪広告掲載、それらの履行期間と見ています。
うちに潰れろと一言言やいいのに、周りくどい奴らだぜ。
先方は近年2代目社長に交代したばかりで、まだ足固めが終わっていません。当方が徹底抗戦した場合、現社長に失点を与えたい勢力が何らかの利的工作をしかねないと懸念しています。そのため先方トップも本件を速やかに解決したいという思惑があるようです。そのため迅速な和解のために多少の条件緩和を引き出せる余地も残っているかもしれません。
いずれにせよとんでもねえ金が必要になるか。
その覚悟は必要です。そしてそれでも懲罰的賠償金よりははるかに安いかと。
ありがとう先生。また進展があったら連絡してください。先生は高級鳥だからヨタ話もできねえ。サンキューサンキュー。グッバイ。
Rudolf hung up the phone. It seemed that the executives sitting in the reception seats could guess what had been said.
聞こえたか野郎ども。まあそうじるとだ。
Okay, 1 second. I want to look up what that word means. Is my phone here? Yeah, okay, my phone's here. Okay. I'm going to look up that word. What is reprobates? What is reprobates? Reprobates. An unprincipled person, often used humorously or affectionately. Ah, intriguing. Intriguing.
金さえ積みや堪忍してやるぜってわけだ。あとは金の高だけを争点にすりゃいい。
しかし社長、渡辺氏の示した和解金の想定額はあまりにも膨大です。それだけの余裕はありません。
こんなことになるって分かってたら高くかなんて始めんじゃなかったぜ。
3年しのげれば資金的危機は脱出できる計算でした。まさかここで刺されるなんて本当についてない。
ホップステップジャンプのステップでこけちまったんだもんな。泣けるぜ。
メインバンクから金を引っ張るしかありません。
銀行はまずいな。連中は勝ち馬にしか金を出さん。景気は上向いてるが銀行に弱みは見せられねえ。
社長、妨害に資金はありますか？我々の把握していない資金です。
よせやい。俺がそういう男に見えるかよ。俺の財布の中身は全てお前らにさらしてるぜ。そこにある帳簿が我が社の全てだ。
なら金策が必要です。数百万ドル単位を引っ張れるスポンサーが大至急必要です。
社長の交友関係で何とかなりませんでしょうか。社長。
ああ、落ち着けてめえら。金策は俺が何とかする。お前らはガタガタせずに業務を維持しろ。金さえ積めば向こうは許すと言ってるんだ。すでに俺たちはアジアに太いパイプを持ってる。いろいろ響くだろうが取引は維持できる。要は金さえ積めりゃ全て解決できる問題なんだ。見てろ、 俺が全て解決する。お前らを路頭に迷わせなんかしねえぞ。大船に乗った気でいろい。無事に解決したらお前ら全員をシャンパンタワーでねぎらってやるぜ。約束する。だから黙って俺についてこい。いいな。
The airplane suddenly shook, probably because of turbulence. That shaking roused Rudolf from his sleep. He had woken up early that morning and had ended up drifting off to sleep while resting in his seat.
大丈夫？まだだいぶ眠いんじゃないの？このところだいぶ仕事が忙しかったようだし。
仕事が忙しいなんて大いに結構じゃねえか。俺が暇になっちまったら俺たち明日から路頭に迷うぜ。
そうね。バトラ君も帰ってきたんだから2人で物乞いすればいいって問題じゃないわよ。
そうだな。6年ぶりに家族が揃ったんだからな。家族水入らずで過ごせるよう課長が頑張らねえとな。
When he looked outside the window, he saw that the airplane was already starting to drop in altitude considerably. The fishing boats, which had only looked like black grains until a short while ago, had become clearly visible.
親父に土下座してげんこつ一発で1000万借りられるなら1ダースくらいもらっときてえところなんだがな。さもなきゃとっととお隠れになってくれりゃいいんだが。散々すねをかじって今度は遺産目当てか。俺は地獄行きだな。そりゃこんな俺に親父も会いたくはないだろうよ。
Back to the mansion.
まさか今年も親族会議にお出にならないつもりですかな。
Wishing Gold, Symbolo. Before I continue on with the scene, I really need to pee right now. So I'll be right back. Almost dropped my water. Nanjo looked at Kinzo's face, sighing. Kinzo's eyes remained rooted to those strange magic books.
ハゲタカどもの議論に加わるつもりはない。好きに我が骨のしゃぶり方でも議論するがよかろう。実にくだらぬ。
やれやれ。困ったものですな。
Nanjo shook his head slightly. To him, children and grandchildren were to be adored. And he believed that their growth was the only enjoyment for old men. He found Kinzo's words to be a very sad thing.
この部屋を出るべき時が来れば私は姿を現す。あれが姿を未だ現さぬようにな。
Kinzo raised his face, and in the direction of his gaze was the portrait of the witch, respectively displayed on the wall. Inside Kinzo's head, there was no conception of today being the day of the family conference, the day when all his dear family would gather together. There was only the face of the witch in the oil painting, who never smiled outside her portrait. Everybody knew that when Kinzo talked about Beatrice, unnecessarily cutting in would insinuate his wrath.
私は今日、ある儀式を執り行う。
それは何ですかな？
儀式というよりは博打に近い。なぜならリスクを負わぬ魔法に奇跡は宿らぬからだ。
Nanjo had already heard this countless times. You could call it Kinzo's favorite phrase. It seemed that Kinzo believed in magic and miracles arising through betting on his own fate with a certain kind of risky probability in beating the odds.
かつて黄金のギャンブラーと言われた金蔵さんがいつお迎えが来てもおかしくないそのご老体で一体どんな博打に挑みますやら。これは見ものですな。
なるほど。研究を尽くした秘術の儀式も魔法に長けぬお前にかかれば博打呼ばわりか。まあいい。奇跡を信じる私が勝てばお前の目には水鏡にしか見えなかったであろう我が研究のすべてがこの日に結実したことをはっきりと理解できるだろう。お前が勝てば見たままの通りいつ迎えが来てもおかしくない年寄りの水鏡に終わるだけだ。
一体どんなギャンブルを始めるやら。あなたの友人としてその賭けにいや儀式でしたか。その儀式にあなたが勝てるよう心からお祈りするだけです。
感謝する。
そういえば金蔵さん、今年の親族会議には懐かしい客がおられるそうですな。
何？
Kinzo reacted in an unusual way to Nanjo's words and turned around.
ほら、ルドルフさんのところのバトラ君です。6年ぶりにおいでになるそうじゃありませんか。
Oh, that must be who Genji was referring to. I thought he was referring to Beatrice, not Battler. Though it could be still Beatrice, knowing how close Genji is to, Kinzo. But it's probably Battler that he's talking about.
きっと立派になっていますよ。
なんだ、バトラか。6年ぶり程度の客人など懐かしいなどと呼びはせぬ。
Upon hearing Battler's name, he showed an ill-humor expression, as though he had been let down, and turned his back to Nanjo again.
金蔵さんにとっての6年などこの部屋で研究に没頭すればあっという間のことでしょうからな。
本当に懐かしい客はあるいは訪れるかもしれん。
I have a sense of heavy foreshadowing coming in for some reason.
すべてはルーレットの出目次第だ。すでにルーレットは回り始めている。ルージュかノワールか。今宵ルーレットがどんな奇跡を見せてくれるのか楽しませてもらおうではないか。配当は大きいぞ。そして負ける気はせぬ。
Also, I want to point out one thing in the background. When they had first arrived in Rokenjima in the first game, it was not cloudy outside just yet. It was a little bit, still a little bit cloudy, but not as cloudy as it is right here in the beginning. Or this might be a glitch in the game, but it wasn't as dark last time, so the weather, along with some minor things, have already started to change. Plus, that airplane ride, Fowler did not seem to be freaking out as much as they proclaimed for him to be having. Let me reword that. Battler on that plane, he didn't seem to be freaking out as much as the other characters were messing with him the first time around, the first game. So, it's already a little bit different because Battler didn't freak out on the plane. Maria had a candy. And the weather changed. I'm sorry, but I'm noticing these small minor details because I'm getting really excited. I'm getting way too excited.
Beatriceよ、我が賭けを受けるがいい。
Just then, the telephone on the table rang. That piercing noise seemed to displease Kinzo, and he picked up the receiver in order to preserve the silence as much as he could.
何事か。私は忙しい。
現時でございます。親族の皆様方が到着なされました。
だからどうしたというのだ。適当に茶でも出せばよい。
かしこまりました。そのようにいたします。
Kinzo hung up the phone rudely. Watching him, Nanjo sighed yet again, and shifted his attention outside the window. As he was now, Kinzo would probably show no interest in any kind of guest. Was there any guest who could make Kinzo agree to come out when he should? He had one person in mind, but that guest was one who could not possibly appear. After a glance at the witch of the portrait, and her candid expression which he could not place as happy or sad, Nanjo gazed up at the leaden sky. Oh? What? No, she's not coming down. No. What? Answer. Oh, intriguing. Why are we in the tea room? Okay, no, this is intriguing. No, I shall not judge. Now then, are the pieces all lined up? Let us start a new game, with the pieces all lined up once more.
何か問題は？
ねえよ。
The witch looked at him in challenge while elegantly smoking her pipe. And Battler? He just slovenly shrugged his shoulders as though she wasn't worth his time. He wouldn't look her in the eyes. But that didn't mean he wasn't going to play. It signified his playing determination to never be taken in by the artifices of... It signified his plain determination to never be taken in by the artifices of this being he faced. It was an expression of his powerful determination to fight.
まさか無策ではあるまいな。
お前の出方がわからねえ以上、策も何もねえぜ。好きに先手を取ればいいじゃねえか。
もちろんそうさせていただくぞ。お前の守りをいかに崩すか、なんてで詰めるか、わらわの腕の見せどころよ。
お前がどんな手で来ようが、俺はお前を信じない。その一点を俺が貫き通す限り、俺に負けはない。ってことはだ、このゲームはお前に勝てないようにできてるぜ。
そうかもしれん。しかしな、ゲームを何度繰り返すかはわらわが決めるぞ。そしてわらわが勝ち、そなたが負けを認めるまで何度でも繰り返されるぞ。つまりこれは苛並よ。そなたがわらわに屈服するまで続く永遠の苛並。そなたがわらわを 魔女の存在を認めるまで永遠に続く。
なら俺もお前が根負けするまで何度でも無限に付き合ってやるぜ。意地の張り合いってやつでは負けた例がねえんだ。
どこぞの魔女にでも入れ知恵されたかまあよい。
ごたくは聞き飽きたぜ。さあおっ始めやがれ。
Haha! That is perfect time for the music, by the way. Nice timing!
さあ始めようではないか。そなたの指し手はすでに知り尽くしておる。手の内を知られた守りなどたかが知れておる。同じ手でしのぎきれると思うでないぞ。
ベアトリーチェ、一つだけ最初に言っておくことがある。
なんだ。
お前が何をのたまおうと自由だ。だが俺が信じるかどうか常に俺が自分で決める。貴様の魔法がどれほどのものだったとしても俺の魂は屈しない。これは俺への拷問だと。違うね。
The one person that's denying the existence of fantasy.
ならばなんだというのか。
これはお前への拷問なのさ。お前がいつ俺に屈し諦めるか。
Answer short. Whoa.
それまで繰り返される拷問なのさ。
面白いかなその例えやよし。互いを苛み合う拷問とは実に面白い。さーて始めようではないか。後ろ宮バトラー
Awesome. Awesome. Umineko no Nakakura ni. Wrong with the Witcher reasoning. Saturday, October 4th, 1986, 10:45. Guest of honor. Moonlit Night. Now, learning my lesson from last time, that was an end of a chapter. That was most definitely an end of a chapter.
Okay.